Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Miss Musselman.
I'm Miss Fishman, as you should know. Oh my god.
Yeah, you should probably know that by now, but it's okay. It's been a while. They might have forgotten our faces.
It's true.
But we're back.
Oh my lord.
So it's good to see you guys again. We really miss you. I know that this is not an ideal situation and that you're probably dealing with a lot of stuff on at home, taking care of your siblings and parents and whatnot. So I'm really glad you hopped on here and are choosing to learn some math during this time.
We know you probably missed it.
Oh yeah. So before we get started, just like a little review. If you guys remember, before we left for spring break, we finished off with polynomials. And we kind of talked about what polynomials look like and how you were to graph them. We did a lot with our calculator, things like that. So if you guys kind of forgot, a polynomial is this giant blurb on the screen right here, the whole x squared plus bx plus c. That's what polynomials look like. And like I said before break, we were having you guys graph them and find the x-intercepts or the
solutions.
Yes.
Wow.
So fun things like that, and we had you doing that in your calculator. So what we're going to do today is, instead of being able to find the x-intercepts in your calculator, we're going to have you do it by hand. Okay, so if you look at the notes on the screen, it says right at the beginning, to factor polynomials in the form of x squared plus bx plus c. Okay, there's a few steps we need to follow. So the first step is,
Number 1, list the factor pairs of c.
and what does it mean to be a factor, Robin?
That you can multiply to make c.
Perfect. Two numbers that multiply to get us whatever our c value is, whether that be positive, negative, whatever. Okay. Step number 2.
Determine which factor pair of c has sum of b, such as m and p.
Okay, so factor pairs of c. We discussed what factors would be of c, numbers that multiply together. But when we say sum, what does that mean?
What could be added together?
You're so smart.
I am so
You're
smart. Look at me go.
So we need two numbers that multiply to get c, but if I add them, I would get the b value. Okay? And then in order to completely factor our polynomial, we would go ahead and take our numbers m and p and write it in the factor form. That would look like this right here, x plus m, x plus p.
That should look familiar to us, remember? That was like our quarter 3 test.
Yes, yep, correct. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do our first examples, first example right here together, okay? So if we follow step 1, what is step 1 asking me to do, Robbie?
It's asking us to find those factors of 12.
All right, so what is our c value in this case right here?
It's positive 12.
Oh, you're so smart. It's positive 12. All right, and I need to list out my factors of positive 12. So if I'm going to get factors of positive 12, am I going to multiply two positive numbers, what do you think?
I think we're going to do two positive numbers, because a positive times a positive is a
positive.
Wow.
But also a negative times a negative is a positive.
Oh, very true. So I guess we'll have to do both.
Okay, see what happens. Okay. So we got a positive 12. Robin, you got any factors for 12 for me?
Let's do 12 and 1.
I like that one. That's a lovely option.
What if we did 4 and 3?
Oh, beautiful. Gorgeous.
Any others?
I know that 2 goes into 12.
How about 6 times? 2 times 6?
You got it.
Yeah.
2 times 6.
Love
All
it.
right. Okay. So we did step number 1. We listed out the factors of 12. What does step number 2 tell us to do?
Let's find what adds for 7. Wow, that
Perfect.
was really badly said, but she still got it.
What adds to equals that? I got you. Okay, so let's look at this first one. If I were to add 12 and 1, what would I be getting?
13.
Yeah, does that equal 7?
No.
No.
Took me a second.
If I were to add 4 and 3, what does that give me?
7.
Oh. And if I were to add 2 and 6, what would that give me?
8.
All right, so which answer's got to be the right one in there?
I feel like it's 4 and 3. What do you think, Muscles?
I think so too, because it would add to equal 7, which is what we want. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and write our factors in the form that we see above. So we always have our 2 sets of parentheses. I got an x at the beginning. And then if it's a positive 4, I'm going to go ahead and write plus 4. If it's a positive 3, I'm going to go ahead and write plus 3.
So even though it's inside the parentheses, it's the same sign.
Yes.
It's only a different sign when you're finding it from the graph.
Correct. Yep. That was a really good comment, because a lot of you guys are like, but Ms. Malzman, you taught me to do what's different inside the parentheses. You're right. But it's different when we're factoring by hand. Okay? Good so far?
Yeah. For you?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm thriving.
This is so much fun. Kids, can you tell what a fun time we're having?
This is really fun.
very well coordinated.
Also, if we mess up, so
Don't judge
sorry.
us.
Yeah, we're learning along with
It's
you.
part of the charm of us is that we mess up.
So true. Okay. So, all right, we're going to start step 1.
Right.
I need to find 2 numbers and multiply to get negative 12.
Right.
Okay, so if something is going to multiply and be a negative, that means one of the factors is going to be negative.
Right.
Okay, but what do we need to add?
What do we need to add to? Positive 4.
We need to get a positive number, okay? So let's go ahead and list out our factors of negative 12.
Okay. We have 12 and 1.
12 and 1,
Once again, 4 and 3.
4 and 3,
And then 2 and 6.
and 2 and 6. But it's a negative 12, so one of these would have to be negative.
And how do we determine which one's going to be negative?
Well, we're going to find out, because if you make one of them negative, it will either give you positive 4 or it won't give you positive 4. So we got to see what happens. Okay, so let's do our first one right here. So if I do a positive 12 plus a negative 1, what's that give me?
11.
Correct. Okay, that's not 4, so If I do a negative 12 and a positive 1, what will that give me?
Negative 11.
Negative 11. And that's still not 4, so that's good.
Thank you. You too. We
Thanks.
on the same page, clearly.
Okay, let's try 4 and 3. So let's make the 4 negative this time. Negative 4 plus 3, what's that give me?
Negative 1.
My gosh, look at this mental math.
Look at us fly.
Oh, yeah. Now let's do 4 and a negative 3.
Positive 1.
Yep. Okay, now are either of those answers 4?
Doesn't look like it.
No. Okay, let's try our last one. Let's do a negative 2 plus 6. What's that give me?
4.
Oh, it sure does.
But let's double check.
Yeah, let's double check the next one. Let's do a positive 2 and a negative 6.
Negative 4.
Negative 4. We don't want that,
No,
right?
We want
No.
positive 4.
Yes,
Yeah.
we want this little puppy right here. Okay? So, we got our 2 factors to come out to be negative 2 and a positive 6, because when I multiply negative 2 times 6, I get a negative 12, and when I add negative 2 plus 6, I get a positive 4. So now I'm going to go ahead and write them just like I told you. Put an X at the beginning. And if it's a negative 2, I'm going to write minus 2. And it's a positive 6, I'm going to write plus 6.
Beautiful. And if you notice, we have that plus 4. So if you look, the bigger number is going to be positive. That's how I like to think about it, is when I'm looking, I always say, oh, if 12 and 1, 12 is going to have to be the positive one.
True.
Between 4 and 3, 4 is going to have to be the positive one. Just so that way, when you feel like you've mastered it, you don't have to do 6 of them, you only have to do 3.
True. And just to help you guys out too, if you're like, okay, I got my answer, but I don't know if I did the right signs. Well, what I always taught you, what Miss Fishman always taught you too, we both did because we're a little smart.
Because we're both amazing teachers.
Yes, is we taught you to, you can double check by just distributing. So I could go back if I wanted to check this first example, and I know that x times x would give me x squared.
Beautiful.
X times 3 would give me 3x.
Lovely.
4 times x would give me 4x.
Right.
And 4 times 3 would give me 12. And then you always combine your like terms in the middle. 3x plus 4x would give me this lovely 7x right here.
Perfect.
So I know that I did the answer or the problem right.
Does that work for box and divorce method too?
It sure does.
Oh my god!
Sure does.
That's so exciting.
You use whatever method your heart desires, guys. It is your choice.
Should we do some examples?
I think we should. But we're going to finish this video, and we're going to make another video for you guys with just examples. Okay? So, see you in about 2 seconds, guys.
Whoa!